Good afternoon. If we could quiet down our voices and get this meeting started. I'm Councilmember Jose Huizar, and today we have a quick agenda, I believe. We have a number of consent items. We have a number of speaker cards on number 4. So I will, unless another council member shows up, ask that we send items 2, 3, 5, and 6 on consent. And item number 7, there was a request from Council District 1 to continue. So we will continue item number 7. And the items on the agenda today are items 1 and 4. So if the clerk could please read number 1 into the record.
Item number 1 is a city attorney report relative to a request to draft an ordinance imposing a fee on property owners to pay for city costs of closing streets and alleys pursuant to provision of California Vehicle Code Section 21101.4.
Thank you. Is the city attorney's office here for a report? Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Deputy City Attorney Judy Reel. Want to summarize?
Want to give your report on this?
Sure. We were asked to draft an ordinance imposing costs for temporarily closing a street or alley because of crime and on adjacent property owners. And this was one of 6 Bureau of Engineering ordinance requests that were part of the 2010 budget. The other 5 were presented and have been enacted. My office is declining to draft the ordinance before you. It's not a regulatory fee. It's not a fee for services. It would, in essence, be a property-related fee imposed by virtue of property ownership rather than use, which requires voter approval as a property tax. Additionally, the council had already established procedures allowing people to voluntarily pay to have the street or alley closed, and council retains the authority to have the city pay for that action when others don't voluntarily pay.
So essentially, my notes here, and pursuant to what you mentioned, we are prohibited from charging a fee for
Correct.
the closure of... does it violate Proposition 218?
Yes.
That's what it is, right?
Yeah, it would be a property-related fee.
Okay, got it. All right, so we will note and file this item. Thank you very much. Thank you for that quick report. Next item, please.
Item number 4 is a motion by Council Members Labange and Parks relative to the temporary closure of Solar Drive at the intersection of Astral Drive located before Runyon Canyon Road for reasons of public safety. This is pursuant to Section 21101.4 of the State Vehicle Code.
Okay, first, is there someone from Mr. Labange's office here? No? They said they were coming? Now, this committee is usually pretty quick, right? Just the facts, ma'am. Why don't we do this? We could start with public comment, and then, well, let's do this first. Let's start with a report from staff, from the department staff, and then we'll go to public comment.
Edmund Yu from Public Works Engineering. On this item, this is a motion from Councilman Labange to initiate the closure process. So what I will be asked, I'll request the committee is to refer this item to the staff, so we will prepare the necessary report and submit the report later on and for your committee's consideration.
So you would recommend I refer to staff to prepare the necessary report?
That's correct.
And would it need to come back to committee, or?
Yes, the report will, your committee will consider the BOE report later on.
Okay. All right. And do we have a letter from LAPD supporting this?
Not at this stage. Normally, that would be one thing. BOE would send out a referral to LAPD for them to comment and give us statistics. Yeah.
Got it. So in your report, you have an LAPD letter if
Exactly.
whether they support or do not support. So,
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Thank you. Public comment. Amy Densler.
Hi, I'm Amy Dantzler, and I live on Solar Drive. We have a few people who are here to speak, but if
Sure.
you don't want to hear from everybody, we don't need to. I live on the street and just wanted to describe the street a little bit. It's a very...
Before you begin and we go into full public comment, let me do this. For the record, we've been joined by Councilmember Englander, and Mr. Englander, with your concurrence, we have moved items 2, 3, 5, and 6 on consent.
I concur.
Okay. Item 7 has been continued. Item number 1 has been noted and filed. We've been told by the city attorney we cannot charge adjacent property owners a fee for the closure of the alleyway. So
That based on state law? Is that?
Yeah, Proposition 218. Yeah. And so that item has been noted and filed, and now we are on item number 4.
We've just been advised that Councilman LaBonge's office is on his way, but we'll go ahead and talk.
Sure.
So I just wanted to describe the street. It's a very small, narrow street that has 14 houses on it and dead ends in Runyon Canyon. And most of the homes are located on the north side of the street looking south over a large area of brush, basically vacant space and brush. There have always been people who've come up here to look at the view, but this really in the past 4 years has really increased, I think, due to the fact that we have a very large vacant house at the end of our street and just through the publicity surrounding the house. So, and the dynamics of who's coming up there has really changed. It's turned into people that look to us like gang members doing drug transactions, sex transactions, drinking, smoking, partying on our street at all hours. We've tried through our neighborhood watch and through the police support, who we've worked closely with, to curb this, but it really isn't effective. Every morning we get up and we pick up bags of trash that includes used condoms, marijuana containers from medical marijuana dispensers, drug paraphernalia, and just regular food and regular trash from people, and we do it every single day. We see people smoking up there. We're in a very extreme high fire zone area, and we find cigarette butts littering the street from these people partying up there. So we have neighbors who have the bedrooms right on the street. They're woken periodically throughout the night. They're never even sleeping a night through. We have some of them here today. And most of us are afraid to confront these people or talk to them because they look scary. We've been told by the police that the graffiti that's appearing on our street and on the vacant house is gang-related graffiti. So, we're not really in a position to talk to them. The police, Captain B. Gramala and Ralph Sanchez and with the support of Councilman LaBonge, have recommended that we try this as a solution. I lost about 30 seconds. Anyway, we're very hopeful with that this will be a solution to these problems and protect our neighborhood and also the wildlife that's out there.
Thank you. And your name is?
My name is Susan Mullins, and I'm president of the Upper Nichols Canyon Neighborhood Association.
Okay, so I got your card.
And the Neighborhood Association is over 550 residents, renters, and homeowners. We have over 120 children in our community. And Solar is a part of our community. It sits right there on the edge of Runyon Canyon Park. And for us, you can hear from the people who live directly on Solar, but this is an issue that is much larger than solar because it really presents a public safety hazard for all of us. It's not just about annoyance. It's about the fact that when you combine drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, and the other more illicit activity that's been going on there, people get careless. We are finding cigarettes in this massive expanse of dry brush. The police have been called in there multiple times to try to get people who were coming into this abandoned house and raiding it and doing crystal meth and all kinds of things like that. And we live, as you know, in the hills. You just saw it in Mandeville Canyon, in fear of fire. So we are highly supportive of this as a last resort. We've been working with Captain Gramala and Officer Sanchez and the gang units and all about what do we do. They've tried sending up police at random. The neighbors have called repeatedly, but often by the time the cops get there, because we're off the beaten path, they've got more important things to do. They're stuck down in Hollywood. By the time they get up, the people have often left. They've tried flyovers at night with their helicopters, trying to see if that would just discourage them. None of this has worked. Captain Grimala had hoped to be here today, but the lieutenant's orals got in the way because they feel that at this point it is a major safety hazard, but they don't know what else to do, and they have recommended to us that going for the temporary gate would be the best solution.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, may I just make one other analogy, if I could, is that the Hollywood Bowl overlook, which is the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy, has the same kind of setup as we have, a little bit bigger. They lock theirs every night. They also send rangers out to all those overlook stations because they share the same concerns. We don't have that same protection, and that's what we're asking for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jesper Christensen, and after Jesper, Julie Anderson, and then Stacy Sillens.
Yes, I can for sure second what already have been said. We live right at the dead-end street, so which means that we have the turning and backing up and all that all during night. And I would say in that sense, if it was just a case of people coming up to watch the view from up there, because yes, there is a beautiful view, I have no problems with that at all. Everybody should be free and come and take that look in. It's a beautiful one. But I would say 95 to 99% of the people coming up there, they're not looking at the view. They're either drinking, taking drugs, smoking weed, and as already said, it's been throwing out on the hillside, which is a major fire hazard. At the same time, when they throw bottles out, when lay in the sunshine on a day like this, you know how that works. It's going to be a magnifying glass, and it's going to set the hillside on fire. I'm kind of going, we live on that street, there's 14 houses there. Who's coming to save us when that fire goes? There's no way they'll get up there. We had tried to call the police probably 20 times in the half year we lived there. They get there, finally, and I can't say that I don't understand why. Of course I understand they have better things to do than come up and chase off weed smokers from our street. I totally get that. But what's the protection for us? We really don't have any. As said, I don't mind people coming up there. I don't mind that people go with their dogs for a walk during daytime and take in nature. They have Runyon Canyon. Loads of possibilities for that. But for us up there, no protection at night. I don't think I've slept a full night for 2-3 months here during the summertime because it's this peak season for all the kids coming up there and doing whatever they do out there. And as said, we don't dare go out there and tell them, would you please leave? They know exactly where we live. We don't know where they live. So there's no retribution for us. We can't call up and say they live there and there. Please go see them. We don't have that chance. That's why we recommend getting the gate up. It's a sad case of the many ruining it for the few. So in that sense, please give us that gate so we can sleep at night and we can take out the fire hazard from there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Julie Anderson?
I just did what everyone else.
Stacy Sillens?
Unless you need to hear more information, well, in essence of time, I'm just speaking for we're all here to represent it. I live in a different part of the neighborhood. I live about a mile from it, so we're all here to support them.
Okay.
Just wanted you all to know that.
Thank you. All right. So, can I have the department come up again, please? So the typical process for this is to get a report from your department presented to the committee with the motion, and through that process, you will ask LAPD to submit a letter of support or non-support, and then have it go through the process. But we don't have the report, so the proper process you're recommending is to send it back to your department. You'll come back. How much time do you need to prepare that report?
Normally, the key is LAPD. As soon as we get something from LAPD, then we can incorporate that in and generate a report petition. So at this stage, without knowing how quickly LAPD can generate, normally at least 3 months, I would say.
Long?
3 months.
Normally 3 months?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure the council member's office would want to work with you and see if they could work with the LAPD to expedite that and have it back here as soon as possible. Okay. Unless there's anything else, I know the council member Labange's office is here. Do you, anything to add?
He's on his way out right now.
Okay, he's ahead. There he is.
Right on
All right, any questions to Councilman?
No, we were stalling for you, so you're.
All right, thank you very much. I
I'll
call for a
start
vote.
singing, and they didn't want to hear that.
No.
We were told by the department they need to generate a report, and they're going to ask the LAPD for a letter. They said that takes 3 months, so I said, I'm sure if you work with a council office...
We'll try to
it'll be
expedite that.
expedited. Come back here as soon as possible.
Here's the situation. I don't like fences. I don't like locks. But if we can't provide the safety, and Mr. Englander, you know from your great experience as a dedicated reserve officer with the LAPD, you got to go the other way. And it's kind of contrary to my belief. You know, that old song, I don't know who wrote it, but don't fence me in. But we got to when it's not safe. We got to then we can't be there. We got to then the standard time with the siren and the curves and the uphill was maybe 7 to 10 minutes from Hollywood Boulevard to get to this location. So we have to harden what is a situation, and we'll figure out the other challenges in the future, but we haven't been successful in this here. And I think the whole area, just to let you know, in this particular area needs better maintenance and care, not just from the physical ground, but from the people who use it and some who abuse it. So, thank you, Mr. Weezer.
Thank you, Mr. Labange. Anything to add?
Yeah, just wanted to ask, it says here, first of all, I don't think anybody knows the district better than the council member, and nobody knows their council district better than Tom Labange, so thanks for coming up here as well.
Thank you, Mitch.
And I agree. I usually don't support, and I haven't supported, just personally, gated communities, and in fact, a lot of developers will come, and we have a lot of gated communities, probably more so in my district than any district in the entire city. And every time a developer comes in, I say no gates. But when you have a problem, and when you have a problem of crime, and it's really a quality of life issue, not just a criminal element, but a public safety issue, when it's keeping you up at night, and I think you've provided some great testimony, this is something that I absolutely would support. And particularly since you've got your councilman here pitching it for you as well. And so that goes a long way. And Bea Gramala, who's fantastic. She's a great captain.
Right.
So send her my best. I'm sure you can get a letter out of her very, very quickly.
Right.
And it won't take 3 months to get it back to the department.
We'll get it by
I'm sure you
6
can
o'clock
yeah,
tonight if we
exactly.
ask her.
She's extremely responsive,
Right.
so you've got my support as well.
The other thing, too, there is a walkthrough during the day. We're not cutting access for the people who want to get to the public space. But at the night hour, we can't guarantee it.
Right.
This helps us.
One thing, it says two things, actually. It says temporary. I don't know what temporary, how long that means. And then the second question, I say, it says you're going to provide keys to all the departments. Will you have a firebox, fire key on it?
As you know, but maybe not as a police officer, I had this trouble with Mr. Zine. Fire department always has a key to everything. It's called bolt cutters. But the thing that they do have is they have the universal key.
Right.
For all of them. Water Power, which does have a tower there, that's part of the West LA transmission, they'll have a key. Everybody will have a key.
All right, sounds good. Talking about gated communities, it reminds me of a bad joke, and public officials shouldn't be saying jokes because they run the risk of being put up in the But anyway, it was a good joke. Some comedian said that he lives in a gated community, and everybody looked at him and goes, "You don't live in a gated community." He goes, "Yes, I have gated doors, gated windows, gated." People got it, okay.
As they tell me often, keep your day job.
keep my day job, right? Anyway, we'll move this as quickly as we can back, and the department's going to write their report, and the department at the same time will outline for us the policies and procedures in making these and other requests possible. So, thank you. Unless there's anything else, meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Wow, look at you. Fantastic.
Oh, it's approved, right?